Hi, I'm rture, and in this video I'm going to take a look at 3 altcoins: MATIC, RUNE and Luna. Before I start, I want to tell you that during the summer, volume can dry up in the crypto markets because there are less market participants. Market structure has been really broken on most of these coins, and especially on Bitcoin, and some would even consider this a bear market. So always apply risk management when trading these altcoins and never be stuck holding bags. With that said, let's start off with MATIC. As you can see, MATIC had an insanely good move up in the start of the year. It went parabolic, but often when a coin goes parabolic, it starts to retrace also quite fast, and especially during these volatile conditions, those moves can happen very fast. That's what happened with MATIC. As you can see, it had this parabolic move up, it retraced a lot and then bounced again. So heavy volatility where I think these moves were almost 100%, and that can be really hurtful if you bought the top or bought the second top. As you can see, the move was 200%. Right now, MATIC is similar to other coins, just bleeding in value. Holders are slowly capitulating, and the problem is that MATIC isn't really respecting retracement levels that well. So what you can see here is that some supports are respected, some levels get rejected, but I think one of the most important levels is often the 0.618 Fibonacci level. There was some reaction at that level on the first retrace, but on this retrace there isn't really a reaction. When that happens, you'll have to look for supports lower. So if MATIC drops more, look for support at 0.88 or 0.74, and those levels are here. If it can find some support, maybe can bounce there, it might be good to take some position. Hopefully it can bounce more, but always make sure you take some profit if it bounces and use a stop loss in case it drops further. I think the highest probability for a bounce would be around the Fibonacci level of 0.786, which is over here around 0.6, which could line up with the supports at 0.55 or 0.48, which lines up with this zone over here. So that's on the daily time frame. Let's zoom in a little bit on the 4-hour time frame and why I think a move towards that level can happen. As you can see, this pattern, this symmetrical triangle, provided some support and resistance, but volatility decreased in that range. So in a bearish trend, these patterns often break down. As you can see, that happened here. On that breakdown, MATIC couldn't really recover or didn't get bought up, so it's again bleeding in value. And I don't think it will quickly recover because also the volume is really low. So we need to find some zone of interest and some buyers at that zone of interest to be confident to stay in MATIC or buy MATIC again. For now, I think it's better to assume a bearish trend. What you also can do is put on a moving average. On a 4-hour, you can probably put on the 100 moving average. And as you can see in the uptrend, when price was above it, price was quite bullish and continued to trend up. But right now, we can see that price is moving below that moving average. And if price is above that moving average, it gets sold into. So unless it flips that 100 moving average on a 4-hour, I wouldn't want to be in MATIC, and I wouldn't consider it bullish. If it starts to flip, there might be a good case that uptrends are starting again, but it first needs to flip that moving average. Let's take a look at RUNE USDT. RUNE, similar to MATIC, had an insane run up. It went from the breakout level of $1.5 to almost $22. I think it topped around $21. And similar to MATIC, it had a big retrace, just like the rest of the market. RUNE tried to find some support at the $6 level. It found that on that retrace. It bounced up, but found resistance at the 0.382 Fibonacci level, which also lined up with the 20 EMA on the daily chart. And as you can see, every time RUNE touched that 20 EMA on the daily chart, it got sold into and price went lower. So this is a clear bearish trend on RUNE. And unless it flips that 20 EMA, I wouldn't want to long this personally. I want to see that moving average being flipped and some kind of uptrend being started. Right now, RUNE is at a previous volume node. That volume node was created when RUNE started ranging here. It's not really a range, it's a smaller uptrend. So you could say it's a diagonal accumulation pattern or something like that. But in general, there was a lot of volume being transacted on RUNE between, I think it's the 5.60 and 4.30 level. And right now we see that RUNE is bouncing from that zone. And that zone also lines up with the 0.786 Fibonacci level. And that's really interesting because that's a level we are interested in on alts. So if RUNE would have a response, I want to see it here. It shouldn't break down the 4.3 level because otherwise it's probably toast and will go back to 1.5. So I think it probably will start ranging here. It shouldn't break down because otherwise we'll have that full retrace. But I'm not interested in scaling in personally because I want to see that moving average flip. And this is, I think, the case for most of these altcoins. Take a look at these higher time frame moving averages, see if they still provide some resistance. And if they start to flip them, there might be a good case to go long again. But don't forget, the whole market is ranging or on some coins bearish. So don't try to force longs if they aren't there. Look for clear reversal patterns in this market. The last altcoin I'm taking a look at is Luna USDT. Luna, from the start of 2021 until half of March, had an insane run up. I think it did a 3000% from somewhere from around the start of the move, which is insane even for crypto. This is a big outperformer in the market, or actually was, because it also had quite a big retrace where it went from rejecting $17, where it went back to $4.8 over here. And this is really interesting because it also bounced from that 0.786 Fibonacci level. It had some fake out below, but got bought up quite quickly at that level and then started ranging again in that previous range over here. And if we draw a volume profile, you can see that this volume node over here again is being respected over here. So it is a good sign that Luna is starting to move up again here, but I would like to see it break the $8.78, which is the 0.618 Fibonacci level, because that one can still provide some resistance. And if it can be flipped, maybe retested, I think it has a good chance to go a little bit higher. And the targets for that move would be 11.38, that's the 0.5 Fibonacci, or the 0.382 Fibonacci around $13, $14. That's where I think the next resistances will be for Luna if this uptrend can continue. So let's take a look at the 4-hour. That's where we see quite a nice uptrend forming. And in bullish market conditions, I would actually say that this is a bullish trend and this is a consolidation below resistance. So I think from all these coins in the shorter term, Luna looks the best. And as you put on a 20 EMA on that 4-hour, you can see that it's respecting that trend quite well and holding on to that moving average. I think it would be wise to also add a 55 EMA to your charts, see if that one gets respected, if it pulls back further. And I think it would be okay to assume the uptrend continuing and maybe breaking that level as long as Bitcoin behaves. If Bitcoin decides to pick a direction, especially to the downside, I think that might hurt the Luna chart too. And of course the rest of the alts in the market. So be very careful with that. But at least focus on this chart and see if these moving averages get respected. See if price can flip that 8.78 level. And then maybe find a good trading setup. Set your stop losses and try to ride this higher. Good luck with playing alts in these markets, because it hasn't been really attractive to do. There might be some moves coming. Some moves already happened. But always stay sharp, on the lookout, and try to find some trades if they're there. If they aren't there, try to stay out of the market, because capital preservation is key. Thank you for watching. Please follow and subscribe to Burp Nest on YouTube so we can do more of these altcoin updates for you. Have a good day.